What does a great salesperson, poker player, and criminal all have in common? Do I have you stumped? Good. They all know nonverbal communication. Whether giving it or receiving it, they are experts at it. And I'm hoping you don't want to be a great criminal, but maybe you do want to be a great poker player, or maybe you do want to be a great salesperson. And so today we're going to show you some nonverbal communication that is going to help you close the deal. Whether that deal is getting the second date, or winning an argument with your spouse, or closing that $1 million proposal. Nonverbal communication helps with that the trust factor, helps with influence, persuasion, so you know what to look for. My name is Shauna Anderson-New, and I know I always shoot these videos about marketing, but this is part of marketing. This is part about relationship building, which is what I really focus on. So I wanted to give you these techniques, these skills for you to learn, to help you close your sales, to help you be a better business owner, a better salesperson, or to be able to get your next promotion. You can use these in so many different ways. Today we're going to talk about the hands. There's going to be a separate video on the different body parts for nonverbal communication and another one on micro expressions. It would just be too long to put this all in one video for you, and I know your time's precious, so let's get started. People use their hands all the time. Right? So if you're watching what they're doing with their hands, you're going to be able to pick up on a lot of things. And if you start matching and mirroring what they're doing, that's going to help the like and trust factor, help with influence, because they look at it like you're like me, right? We have things in common. You move like I do. You talk like I do. I mean, people talk with their hands all the time. So if you start picking up what they're doing, you start matching and mirroring it, then they're going to feel like you get me, you know me. If you see somebody with their hands around them, it either means that they feel unsafe and they're trying to feel safe. It means that they're trying to protect themselves. They're trying to distance you from them, or they're feeling empowered. If you see somebody touch their neck, this is the suprasternal notch. This goes back to our paleo days, back to caveman time, when we have seen the predator go after the prey. Where do they always go first? They go right after the neck. Right, so we want to protect our neck. So if you see somebody protecting their neck when you're talking to them, it means they feel threatened, they feel unsafe, there's an issue. So you need to stop and think about, what are you saying to them at that time, and how can you change it so they feel safe? If you see somebody rubbing their hands, it means they're stressed. If you're in a green room and you're a speaker, you're going to see people doing this a lot. Right, so that's a sign of stress. If you see that, then you need to figure out what's going on and how to unstress them. If you see somebody going like this, they're rubbing themselves, that either means they're cold or they're uncomfortable with something that you're saying to them. So figure out what's going on and how to make them comfortable. I hope you have your notebook out so you're taking notes on this, because it's hard to remember everything, and I want you to study this and get better at it. If you see somebody with their fingers interlocked, or they're going like this with extended fingers, that means something's wrong, like something is really wrong. If you ever see this, this means I'm confident. It's called steepling. Blind children do this, and they've never seen anybody do this. So we know that that's a natural part of our paleo system, is the steepling. If you see that, then you know that they're very confident about what they're saying, and you know where to go from there with the conversation depending on what's happening. If you ever watch Shark Tank, that's a great place to watch this nonverbal communication going on in a sales process. Mr. Wonderful does it all the time. He is always sitting there in his chair, as he has his elbows on the sides of the chair, and he is having the steeple while he's talking. There's also the thumb displays. Thumb displays are used by royalty and people in power positions. So that's when they have their hand in the pocket and only their thumb is showing. So you know when somebody's posturing like that they're either royalty or very powerful professional. Spreading the arms out, taking up more space, sitting in a chair if they're spread out, raising their arm if they also take the alternate arm and they put it out. Just taking up more room is a very alpha position. They're posturing. If you have two people together and one starts posturing, the other person you'll see will shrink in. That means they're more submissive. If you have two alphas together, they will just start having a whole posture off. So you can definitely read people and where they are in this hierarchy by looking at how are they spreading out, how are they shrinking up. If you see somebody self-ventilate, that's where they take their collar and they're moving it away from their neck. That doesn't mean they're being deceptive. It just means something's really wrong. There's something going on and there's an issue there and you need to figure out what that is. If you're talking to somebody and they put their finger over their eye and just kind of swipe it quickly, well, that's a sign that something's wrong. Blind children do this. They cover their eyes when they hear something they don't want to hear. So we are trying not to sit here and just cover our eyes. So we'll just take our finger and involuntarily just cover our eyelid, kind of just close it because we don't like what you're saying. So think about what you're saying at the time that this is happening and figure out how to change this. This is another one that's part of our paleo system that's just really ingrained in us. So you're gonna see it happen from time to time. So change the conversation at that point, reframe what you're saying, ask a question to figure out what's going on inside of them. I don't think anybody's gonna be surprised by this one, but pointing of the finger, right? We don't like our finger pointed at. So if you're trying to build rapport, you're trying to build influence and you're pointing at somebody, you're not gonna build it. You need to use your whole hand. You need to show it like Vanna White. Yeah, just don't point that finger. If while you're talking to somebody, they're doing the same action over and over again with their hands and all of a sudden it changes, well, that means something's going on. There's an issue. They're either excited about what you're saying or they're distressed by what you're saying or the situation that's happening. I just watched this interview with Phil Hellmuth. He is a World Series of Poker champion. He's got the most bracelets at 14 bracelets. And he was talking about when he's playing poker, he's watching what the other poker players are doing. If the whole time they've been putting their chips in like this, and all of a sudden they're pushing them in like that, he's like, something's going on. Either they feel like they're gonna win this, or they feel like they're totally defeated, and inside they're like, oh my gosh, what am I gonna do? Hands. They wouldn't be complete without talking about the handshake, right? We all know that's a great first impression. So when you go in for the handshake, don't have that limp fish, or don't have that strong arm either, right? You want a nice firm handshake. Our brain remembers bad experiences for 13 years, and you don't want to be remembered as a person with the bad handshake. I hope you wrote these down. I want you to master these. So when you're having these conversations, whether you're trying to be a great poker player, a great salesperson, a great relationship builder, you're trying to win the conversation with your spouse, or get the next date, whatever that is, or the promotion, whatever you're trying to do, your goal is, I want you to master these nonverbal cues so that you know how to give them and how to receive them. I want you to build influence. I want you to be able to go to the next level and to achieve your goals. If you found this useful, please share it out. Send it over to somebody that you know, put it on social media, make sure you follow and subscribe to us. I have a goal of helping people grow their business, to help build relationships. I think in this day and age that building relationships is becoming something that is becoming an art, and not everybody's doing it. They're so into just texting and doing things that aren't face to face, or doing things that aren't so human. And I want to help you stand out and be different by building these relationships. So nonverbal communication is going to definitely help you with that. Remember, there's going to be 2 other videos. The other video will be on using the other body parts that are nonverbal and the micro expressions. So those will be coming out after this video. So make sure you check them out. Put them in that same notebook so you have all your notes together. And most importantly, remember to smile, because happy looks good on you. Have an amazing day.